Could Derby County bring back David Ozoh? Now, across the course of the last few days, David Ozoh's name has popped up a fair few times across the course of Derby County's social media fans. Now, do I believe that this is a deal that could happen? Of course, it certainly could. David Ozoh is an unbelievably talented player. Now, obviously, in regards to that of David Ozoh, we have to discuss the injury worries. Now, Derby County at the moment have 6 players who are set to miss out on the start of the season. Andy Weimann, who's not even made his appearance yet, and obviously Matt Clark, who came off with an injury yesterday to add to those 6. Now, for me, David Ozoh, obviously a brilliant player, but is it the right move to make to try and bring him back to Derby County when realistically we need players that we can trust and can rely on? Now, obviously, we're going to discuss David Ozoh and everything that he could add to Derby County and why this deal could or shouldn't happen this summer. Now, obviously, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. But let's get into it. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, obviously, we all know that David Ozoh is an absolutely brilliant footballer. There's no doubt in anyone's mind about that. Not from my perspective anyway. All the conversations that I saw about David Ozoh last season were always positive and in a positive light in regards to that of his ability. However, he does have one huge negative, and that is obviously injuries. Now, across the course of last season, he started, maybe the first 5-6 games, maybe a couple more than that, but only ended up playing about 12 games across the course of the season. And obviously for Derby County, that just isn't good enough. It will never be good enough. We need players who can play 25, 30 games this season. We need players who can be available. And unfortunately for David Ozoh, that's something that he wasn't able to do last season. Now, do I necessarily believe that it was all on David Ozoh? I don't. I believe that a lot of Ozoh's issues were in regards to the circumstances that he faced. He went from Saturday to Saturday, essentially academy football and occasionally playing with the first team for Palace, to Saturday, Tuesday for Derby. And I just felt that he wasn't managed into the season well. And I think really that came from the fact that Derby County didn't have arguably enough midfield options, or midfield options that Paul Warne at the start of the season was willing to call upon, and that caused huge problems with David Ozoh picking up the injuries. Derby County then sort of lost all sort of bite in midfield, and that was when it all started to go a little bit downhill. We then obviously went on to lose Ryan Diambi and multiple other players across the course of the next few weeks. But don't get me wrong, I think that any potential signing of David Ozoh is an absolutely brilliant one. But that's only if we're looking at it on paper. If we're looking at it in full regards of what it's going to offer to the club and the problems that may arise, it's a little bit of a negative. Now, I'm always completely honest in regards to what I think about players and what could happen over the course of the next few months or so in regards to the transfer window closing. And I think that one of the major issues that I sort of find within myself is if we bring David Ozoh in, we've literally got the same midfield as last season. And I didn't think that midfield was good enough. I thought there was a decent balance, but I just don't think it was good enough. And that's sort of where my problems start to arise. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always an opportunity where this whole situation is handled differently with John Eustace than it was with Paul Warne. There's obviously the situation where David Ozoh has a completely different role in the team and completely different responsibilities to that of the ones he had under Paul Warne. Now, obviously, we're not going to know that unless he does end up signing. And do I think it's going to happen? In my personal opinion right now, I'd say no. I think that Derby County are waiting upon a potential deal for Harrison Armstrong, but obviously that does require Everton making some moves, which is obviously what I spoke about a couple of days ago or a week or so ago. And it realistically, it is sort of, it's a hard one to really sort of understand where Derby County are going. I think, don't get me wrong, I do think we need another sitter, but I also think we need a couple of creative options as well in the midfield, and that's obviously one of the huge things that we're waiting for right now, and we just don't have it. And that is a huge problem at the moment. And we ultimately don't have any links to creative-minded midfielders either, or even wingers, for be completely truthful. And obviously we've gone through pre-season playing a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, whatever you want to class it as. And I just think we're still missing massive options. And I think if you look at the circumstance in regards to injuries, and is that really a risk you want to take with David Ozoh, who we know last season couldn't get fit? Now, whatever the reason for that is, we can obviously discuss time and time again, but it's just a circumstance that is very, very disappointing. And you'd hope that as Derby County fans and as the club of Derby County, well, as the club of Derby County, you'd hope they'd have a better understanding of Ozoh's situation. But as fans, you'd hope that Derby County are looking into bringing in players who can be fit for 30, 35 games. And at the moment, I don't really know where our creativity is going to come from in regards of this transfer window. I don't really know where the midfield balance is going to come from. Now, don't get me wrong, Armstrong and David Ozoh, both very, very good footballers, but I don't necessarily think they add a great deal to the midfield. I think Armstrong was brilliant last season, do not get me wrong. Brilliant on the ball, very composed, and can make things happen. David Ozoh, brilliant on the ball, but in regards of sort of the whole circumstance of adding in more creativity and adding in more impact on the other end of the field, I just don't necessarily think either Armstrong or Ozoh sort of offer that. But obviously that's something that we're going to have to wait and see and talk about later down the line should these deals happen. Now, obviously, really hoping that some moves get made across the course of the next few weeks. But for Derby County, it's going to be a very, very interesting one as they search for wingers, they search for maybe another striker, they search for maybe another centre-half with Matt Clark's injury, and then obviously we all know the situation with wingers. But you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments if you have not done so already. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.